What's up, my kings and queens? It's APOC, your favorite host and jealousator, and welcome to the channel. So, I guess the redheaded she-devil JesssFam herself decided to finally answer one of our biggest questions, which of course is, does she pay her children for being featured in the vlogs? And from what we have seen over the years, I kind of doubt it. And if she does, it's in a way that benefits her way more, which we will get to, but I can pretty much guarantee that it's the bare minimum. Now, of course, the goons will come out and say,
nothing is ever good enough for you, hi, Buck.
no, the bare minimum is not good enough for me. And the fact that it is for any lame who spews this nonsense speaks volumes and means that you don't really care. But hey, what should we expect from snobby, insecure dead brains? It's kind of like expected at this point. I mean, these types don't even understand the meanings of words. Now, before we dive deep into Jess's statement, let's note that I do believe that she's actually one of these vloggers who is good with their money and doesn't spend it on frivolous bullshit like KK and Baby J or even OK Baby. Although Karen and Aqua are much worse when it comes to overspending and being materialistic, greedy scumbags. I'll definitely give JesssFam her credit on that one because she's not really like that outside of all her vacations. But as Janelle stated, her ex-best friend, in the interview I did with her, that a lot of the Disney trips were actually free. And we know this because JesssFam also gets sponsorships. Now, I know it's not every single time, but still, every time Jess goes, she always gets a deal somewhere. And hey, sometimes she even gets paid to go to Disney. I mean, don't y'all remember when I was calling Jess up for complaining about something small while on her way out to a free sponsored vacation to Disney? During 2020, while people were going through the hardest points of their lives, losing their homes, jobs, and whatever else, because that did happen. So when Jess goes on all these vacations 4 times a month, you bet your ass something is free or she's making money. It's one of the two, or hey, even sometimes both. I do think she's good with her money and doesn't overspend like a lot of these other vloggers, which is good, but I'm not going to jump for joy or pat her on the back and stick my nose up her ass because that's just being a responsible adult. It's like literally what you're supposed to do as an adult. And as a parent too. So anyone who says we should give props to her for doing things that she's supposed to do, you can take that participation trophy shit out of here, man. We don't do that. Not gonna praise someone for what they're supposed to do. Plus, JesssFam has already had enough yes men patting her on her back her entire life. I'm not gonna add to it, especially because, the bare minimum. Okay, let's see what this dweeb has to say. Let's talk about this. As a family creator, barf. Naturally, my kids are sometimes featured in our content. I just love how she says sometimes the kids are featured in their content. Jess, my guy, your kids are your content. And without them, without being a teen mom, you would be nothing, which is why your personal channel is basically dead. And the only reason it has any subs to begin with or gets views is because of your children, which is why it came after you built your name on family vlogging. I mean, she barely posts on that channel because her following isn't interested in watching her laugh and giggle when she mentions sex. But if you look at the recent videos on JesssFam, there's a lot of them where she's using her children within the titles and thumbnails. It's like there. And then when they're not focused within those titles and thumbnails, the content is still based around family vlogging. So it doesn't matter. People know when they watch a JesssFam video, they're going to get the family, even if Jess is just in the thumbnail. So it doesn't matter. I would actually like to watch Jess run a channel of her own outside of her children and even outside of being a mother. But no, family vlogging is just easy because I bet that if she made a channel and it wasn't focused around the children or her, and again, the only reason she gets any clicks around her name or her own self is because of her children. But if she made a channel not dedicated to any of that and went the commentary route or some other route, she would not do well. That channel would tank so fast. But that's not just from people not being interested. That's also because Jess doesn't have any real work ethic or ambition. She just wants to throw out the easiest content, which is family vlogging. It is so easy to exploit your child online. So easy. And it's become apparent to me that things like this should be discussed more. She must begin some sort of grief online or something, some like big fluctuations of so-called hate, because Jess never wants to address real discussions. Like at all. In fact, she lives for the drama, loves it, even starts some of her own from time to time. Kind of like baiting pita breads online. But she'll never, ever talk about that. For some reason, there were crickets on her end when we were all calling her out. And then she just deletes the photo of her topless daughter. And I know people were conflicted on whether she was topless or not. I still think so. No matter what, it was too revealing, and I'm sticking by it. And she deleted it for a reason, and it was because of the grief or the hate. She could just limit it to the comments. She deleted it because there was something going on in that picture. I'll give her that props for deleting the picture. But the problem is, though, she does this all the time. So I don't even know why she deleted it. But she did that and just pretend like nothing happened. Oh, but she'll bully, teenage girls, no problem, just for having an opinion. Or, drag Janelle across the internet just for saying she felt like left behind or whatever. But, when other adults are online claiming that she uses her children and baits weirdos online for money or for attention, she doesn't say a word. You would think that she would, but hey, that's just me. Maybe it's because she can't spin it.
She wasn't topless, APOC. Stop spreading a false narrative against mommy vloggers.
Yeah, I've come to the conclusion that anyone who spews this nonsense or thinks that these kids aren't being exploited is just a naive fetus, or it's just peachy, just Gucci with children being baited online, which just makes them just as gross. One of my favorite mama influencers, at Mama Trotter, posted a reel more in depth about it, and it inspired me to share a little bit more of myself, considering I've been on the internet for almost 13 years now. Well, there's not really much more she could share. We know a lot about Jess and her family, and we really shouldn't. We know way too much, honestly. But this is what I mean. Jess didn't want to take the time herself to make like a solid video on her own, actually sitting down and explaining things and talking about this topic because, it's so important or whatever. Nope. She instead cites someone else who put in the work, who goes into way more detail. And then Jess just throws up her own TikTok going,
I pay my kids' guides in vacations and stuff.
And then right after throwing up some clickbait
concerning a 12 a.m. phone call for my son,
which I'm sure was taken out of context, manipulated, and spun to line up her own pockets. Even though the majority of the content that does involve the kids. You mean like the 90% of content, but the only reason anybody watches the other 10% is because of the kids anyways? It's just them having fun and making amazing memories throughout their childhood. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's just amazing for the kids that just will document their pain and tears instead of, being a present parent. Mother of the year. We believe that the time kids put into any form of production is very valuable. It just doesn't really sound right. She just doesn't know how to talk and should be properly compensated. I really wonder when Jess started paying her children. Was it after the custom home, after the trips or other vacations or whatever else? When was it? And how much of a percentage do they get from your monthly? Because she probably makes 30 to 40K on YouTube, roughly, I think. Last time I checked, it was 60K, but she's gone downhill since that point. So what percentage of that money are you giving to your children? Are they getting their fair share is what I'm getting at.
Bet not, brother.
How does it work? Well, it's complicated. No, not really. It can be summed up pretty easily, actually. But in a nutshell, we have 7 of our kids on salaried payroll, which allows contributions to be made into combination of retirement plans and personal investments. So it's just as I thought. None of these kids actually have any control over their money. It is their money too. It's not anybody else's, it's theirs. Or how much they get. Now, it's a good thing that money is being put away because kids will spend it on hot Cheetos and soda and candy. But that doesn't mean that Jess isn't taking what she thinks is fair for her. And that is the problem. There are so many options on how to do this, but bottom line, if your kids are featured in your paid content, they should be compensated. Hey, I agree. But I remember a time not long ago, and maybe you guys do too, when Jess was mocking all of this about kids being paid online, mocking people saying you exploit your children and take all the money. She mocked it. But now all of a sudden,
kids should get paid.
She literally said that all their money gets put away and they have no control over it. And don't get me wrong, like I said, it's a good thing because kids spend it on dumb shit. But the main issue is the percentage of the money. And maybe this is just my women's intuition, I guess. But I doubt it that she's being fair. Unlike child acting and modeling, there is no current law put into place for child influencers, which means it's up to the parents to educate themselves and make sure their children are properly compensated. I love this because we all know that Jess will not take the time to sit and learn any of these things, retain nothing, learn no lessons, educate, none of that. She will not do that, especially when it's all based around numbers. I would be highly shocked if she could even use a calculator. She's not the sharpest tool in the shed, and that's pretty evident. I mean, the best route for us was to get professional advice and guidance from a lawyer, financial advisor, and an accountant to put together a plan for each of our kids to make sure that they are safe, protected, and they're taken care of. Protected from what, Jess? Protected from you? So right there, she just admitted it. She didn't sit down and educate herself. She just said that it was up to the parents to learn these things to protect their kids. So she just gets other people to do it for her, pays other people to do it for her. I mean, I get it. It's honestly the best way to go. But we all know that Jess has full control over this. Also, she probably just got all of these professionals to help her to save on taxes. Above all, through the years, I've learned a lot. Well, I kind of doubt that. And as I've gotten older, we share a lot less than we once did. She just admitted everything we have been saying for a long time now, that these kids will get older eventually, and then they won't want to share as much. Which means what, Jess? That they are becoming aware of the camera and what's behind the camera and the internet and how many people are watching them. And they don't want everything about them plastered online for the world to see. So as in before, they didn't understand because they were too young to get it. And now that they're getting older, they're starting to pull away and not share as much. That just means they couldn't give consent. She's just proving our point. Gotta love it, man. I love this shit. When these people don't think before they speak. Now, I will say that if Jess is actually respecting the privacy, again, I'll give her props for that. She should be doing it anyways, but okay, great. She's doing it. But the problem is she didn't do it before and didn't even consider how they would feel later on. She's only respecting them now because she has no choice. My kids have full control of when or how, if at all, they choose to participate in any piece of content. And as you can probably tell, most of them can't get enough of it. Yeah, well, that's a lie. Oh, and by the way, when you shove a camera in your kid's face since birth, they think it's normal. And I've said this before on my channel and other videos. These kids, all these vlog kids, like while they're young, probably think it's weird that other people like are working at Starbucks or stores or whatever. Because like, why don't you just vlog? You know, like that's probably going through their minds. It's probably weird to them that they're not shoving a camera in their own face or walking around with a camera or vlogging. But it's not the same thing, Jess. When you shove a camera in your kid's face since birth, they're going to think it is normal. So no shit, they can't get enough of it. Well, most of them aren't old enough to have control of their own accounts yet. It's something that's talked about on a daily basis. No, it's not. The only thing running in Jess's brain is Disney. That's all. She doesn't think about anything else, let alone use her brain on the daily. And I'm proud to be able to have set them up for a potential side career if they choose to move forward with it on their own one day. Yeah, here's the problem with that, guy. Your brand is family vlogging, and family vlogging is a dying thing. It's a dying breed. And by the time these kids are old enough to work, there's just no way in knowing if the JesssFam brand will even still be around, because you put all your eggs into one basket. So if it fails, which it will eventually, what will you have for your children down the road? Nothing. It doesn't matter if you have money now. All you know is child exploitation. So if you can't do anymore, if that's no longer a thing, what are you going to do? You have no ambition or work ethic. What will you do to work? You've had it easy your whole life, surrounded by yes men. So what if all that just went away? My guess would be that everything would crumble and be no bueno. But anyways, I guess that's all on her Instagram reels. But also she posted something on TikTok that I want to read off because it's typical Jess, you know, it's typical Jess. And it's exactly what you expect from Jess. So here are some ways that she compensates her children for participating within the vlogs. So I guess once in a lifetime opportunity is part of the payment plan. But like the only reason she has anything at all in any of her own opportunities, once in a lifetime opportunities, is because she exploited her kids. Her kids gave her those opportunities. That's it. So how in the hell is she going to act like that's a payment, that she's doing something, that she's doing them a favor? This is the most ass backwards shit I've ever seen. And bro, this next one, she's not saying that stay-at-home parents is a form of compensation. No, that is a benefit. That is a privilege that most people don't have. But a payment? Oh, hell no. It's not a payment. Kids deserve to have both parents in the home. But it is not a payment. It is a gift. It is a privilege. I love how she's twisted that, man. And lifetime financial security shouldn't be on here. We all know that she has money. a lot of money, but not that kind of money to secure all of her family. She has a big family. How difficult to say. These kids can just live life. You don't know what will happen later down the road. Not to mention, like I said, her line of work, family vlogging, especially recently, has proven not to be a reliable source of income as of late. Again, she makes a lot of money on it, but it is going downhill slowly but surely. Oh, and of course, she listed incredible vacations. That's not a payment. That is a privilege. Those are two different things, man. And again, the kids are the only reason why she gets to go to Disney 20 times a year and other places. The fact that she's trying to list all of this off and label it as payment or whatever is just insane. I mean, don't get twisted. This is not shocking coming from Jess because, you know, Jess, but it's still insane nonetheless that people think this way, that they're wired like this. And next we have an established brand. Again, that's not a payment, nor is that guaranteed. And meeting special people, really? Special people, Jess? That's what we're going with now? That's where the bar is set? And what special people? Other influencers? Or your friend Talia? She's not that special. This just seems like a really kind of narcissistic thing to say.
I graced you with a present.
My God, just stop. A lifetime memories caught on camera. That is not a fucking
Payment.
Most of these things that she listed off are not a payment. A lot of people have these things as well. But the difference is that they actually earned it without exploiting their children in the process. Well, just shoves the camera in a kid's faces the very minute they pop out of the womb. It's good that she's putting away money for them. And you guys already know how I feel about percentages and whatnot. So I'm not going to get into all that again. But it's not just about money, though. It's also about consent and privacy and pushing out too much personal information that can get them in harm's way. I mean, look what happened to Brittany and Baby. And started exploiting her children again too. But still, the point is not to put these kids in danger and keep them safe. It's not just about money. And you know, like I said, it's good that she's respecting her kids. I mean, we don't know if that's true, but still, it's good if that's happening. But she basically just proved all of us right, that as these kids get older, the more they're going to want to pull away from the vlogs. And they're doing just that. Anyways, all you jealous haters, to conclude this video, I don't know what else to say here. Jess will sit for 11 hours to buy tickets on Disney and bitch and moan and all that noise and turn all that into content, but doesn't want to keep that same energy for really good discussions like this. These topics, you know, they're so much more important than going to Disney or vacations or vlogging or any of that, which, you know, kind of says a lot about her. Oh, and by the way, before I go, all this sounds oddly familiar. And you know why? Because she spewed basically the same horse doo back in 2020 when I called her ass out for not paying her children. If Jess thinks that these things like this should be talked about more, and it's been almost 2 years with basically the same answer, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and guess that the old firecrotch didn't actually sit down and educate herself. She just hired some people to do it for her. Nor does she actually believe that this is an important issue or topic, even if she sounds all passionate and stuff. But that's it. Bye.